Hello,
Hi.
happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Salter Birds Podcast. I'm Tracy.
I'm Robin.
We are mother and daughter, and we love to talk about interesting things.
Yes. Some things we would love to get accomplished with our podcast is to, one, further people's walk with Jesus Christ. To find guests that have niches that they've like really dug deep in and studied in either, whatever part of the Bible that they feel very passionate about, because I've learned that many people have specific parts of the Bible that they study for like a lot of their lives.
And it's so good when people take deep dives in the Bible and they really find out all the inner workings of a particular part of the Bible. It's beautiful.
Yes. And our guest today is so exciting because it is something that a lot of people don't like to talk about, but it is all Christian-based financial.
Yes.
I'm excited.
I am so excited. I can't wait for you guys to meet her. I just saw her. She joined our conversation, so
Yes,
we are going to anything important other than this conversation.
We will invite her. Also, another thing that I have been looking up, all these things about podcasting, all this stuff. One thing.
Hi, Emily. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
We are doing wonderful.
It's nice to meet you.
Good to meet you guys too.
We're so excited for this conversation. It is not very often that I have ever come across Christian financial advisors or the like. They for some reason don't seem to go together, but I think they do. So I'm really happy to talk to you.
Yes.
If you'll excuse me, if you just heard that, I'm going to go turn that off really quick, and I'll be back.
Well, one thing that I was saying right before you jumped on was one thing that is unique about our podcast that I did not know was so unique, that we film all of our stuff live. So we do a soft question list just to stay on topic. But other than that, like, what you see is what you get, which
I love that.
I love it too. I didn't think it was so rare that people did this. I thought that everyone podcasted this way. However, it's very exciting for us because we've just had a really good time with all of our guests, and we love meeting all of you guys and new people, and all walks of life in the Christian community. So,
Well, that's awesome. I'm super excited to be invited to be a part of this.
Yes, we're happy to have you. So we'll just dive right in because I feel like we like to go an hour, and I feel like you're going to have a lot to say that might push us towards the hour.
well, maybe first,
go ahead.
do a soft introduction of kind of who you are and.
What I do? Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I'm Emily Scott. I am a certified financial planner. And last year, I felt the call to write a Bible study focused on financial literacy and answering questions about what God says about money. I figured that there's a lot of content out there that this is what to do, but not the why. So I wanted to fill that niche. And so I offer coaching as well. So clients that want to hop in and get their financial planning sorted out, I do that too. But my heart and mission is all in the Financially Unbroken Bible study.
I love it. I love that. I read through several of your things, and I apologize. I felt like I already met you. I'm thankful that Robin jumped on and asked you to do an introduction. Like, we all know Emily now, just because So, I do want to get started with the questions. Unless you have any more openers that you would like to talk about, that you'd like to tell anybody about, or you happy to start with the questions?
Yeah, we can start with questions.
I'm very excited. So many Christians feel uncomfortable talking about money, as if wanting to manage it well is a spiritual weakness. And it's so true. And first, why do you think it is? And what have you discovered that the Bible actually says positively about managing money?
Yeah, I think a lot of the almost shame comes from there's a verse in First Timothy that says that the love of money is the root of all evil, and they kind of skip over that it's the love of money and just say the money is the root of all evil. But there's actually 2,500 verses in the Bible that talk about money.
Wow.
Everything from saving, budgeting, investing. It talks about diversification of your income, and it talks about that stuff. And
Wow.
so if it talks that much, it's pretty important. It's a pretty important topic, and so we need to talk about it more. But one of the things that I've learned really is because we have this like shame and we don't talk about it, we don't ever learn the shift between a selfish money mindset and a God focused money mindset. And I think that's one of the first shifts to make is instead of look at me, look at how much I have, look at all the stuff I have, versus this is what God has given me. And this is, I'm going to steward it well because of that.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's like one of those tricky things. It's kind of, to me, in my mind, it's kind of like food. We need it. We have to have it to get by, to function, to purchase things, to pay for our way and provide for our children. And yet it's becomes we get so easily obsessed with it.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas I think your take on the matter would be a much smarter option to actually take deep dives in the Bible and find out where we're supposed to land with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very, very smart. Um,
Well, also in the verse that you had spoke about before, that is a huge verse that people use, but they don't read the before and after for sure. Because of, money is obviously a part of life.
Mm-hmm.
And the love of money is the root of all evil. However, there's, refocusing and everything in life trying to get you back to like God first. This is where we're supposed to be. And then he'll dole out your money.
Yeah, seeing it as a resource instead of something to acquire all the time.
that's good. That's a good way to think about it.
Mhm.
I'm trying to take notes and listen and pay attention. Thinking of money as a resource. I like that. So in the church, we often warn about greed, but rarely about the poverty mindset. The fear there's never enough. How do both of these distort a believer's relationship with God? And what is the path to freedom in your estimation?
Mm-hmm. So both of those things, if you noticed, what starts with a fear. And since God doesn't provide a spirit of fear, he provides a spirit of sound mind. Neither of those come from God. But one of the freedom points that I talk about with it dives back into Psalm 23, which is the Good Shepherd passage. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
Mm-hmm.
He provides the daily bread. So the context of Psalm 23 was the shepherds in the field in the Middle East were not these luscious fields that were all green. It was desert. And so he would take the sheep to have enough fuel for the day at a time. And so when I think about that in comparison to our income, we are not given all of the income that we could possibly want right now. He's providing for us on a daily basis with our paychecks, with however it is that we make money
Mm-hmm.
incrementally. And so as we steward it well, which is the management part, he's providing for the day. And so that, again, that's one of those mindset shifts that you got to make between God is abundance and he does provide, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to just, give you as much as you can possibly handle. He's going to be trusting you with your abilities, with the income, and then it's your job to take it and steward it well.
I love that. So when you talk about, so you are a certified financial planner.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's teaching people how to manage their money well. Do you do all of your work through a Christian lens when
Mm-hmm.
you're coaching people?
Yes.
I really like that. I think that gives a really firm foundation.
It does. And it also translates into the investments as well. And so there's companies that have put together mutual funds and ETFs that are all values-based companies. And so you know that you're not earning money off of something that you might not want to earn money from. Things like predatory lending or gambling, tobacco, a bunch of things that would kind of detract from humankind. So that's another way that I'm able to help clients is putting their money into portfolios that have their values in mind.
I like that.
I do always think about that. I do just little bits, but I'm always like, I need to like have a full recap on all these businesses that I plan on investing on because I do not want my money going to something that I do not agree with.
Mm-hmm.
This stuff is it's hard to know all of those things. So you would be really useful in that.
Mm-hmm.
So the so you talked about fear being at the forefront of both of those questions, greed and a poverty mindset. I would like for you to go a little deeper as to why obviously nobody wants to be in poverty, but what are some of the ways that God talks about his role in our lives, turning us away from poverty, I guess, or keeping us from poverty?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say some of those parts of the Bible are?
Mm-hmm. So aside from Psalms 23, there's a few other places where God talks about providing. Um, you can also look at some of the parables that Jesus gave, right? So one of the ones that I turn to is the parable of the talents. And that is the master had given three people three different amounts of money and said, go and basically invest was
Mhm.
the parable. And the two of the people took their money, invested well, and made some. And then when they brought it back, it was, hey, this is how much I was able to make. And then there was the third person that was so fearful that they just went and hid it. They didn't even put it in a bank. They didn't get their high yield savings rate. They got nothing. They buried it and then they brought it back because they were so afraid of losing it. And because of that, the master then took it from them and gave it to the person that invested well. So that's another way of you're given what you're given, and it's not necessarily equal. It's not going to be everybody gets the same thing. You're given what God is entrusting you with, and you need to be able to manage it well. So I don't know if that answered the question, but that was where
Oh no, that is
thinking
one
we were
way.
going.
Yeah, no, because we, so I don't know if this is all of Christendom. I don't know if this is every Christian's mindset, but for whatever reason, it sometimes seems like, well, we don't mind if Christian people are in poverty. It's better to be in poverty than to be
Mm,
in wealth. That's
mhm,
kind of the area that I think about a lot, to be honest, when it comes to money.
mhm,
So, thinking about that God doesn't want us to be in a state of poverty either, because that would be a place of lack. We
mhm.
wouldn't be living out the 23rd Psalm. So, yeah, you did answer it. Thank you.
Okay.
Um, so I don't necessarily have this in our list of questions either, but this is going to remind me, I already know. It says Proverbs 22:7 says the borrower is a slave to the lender. In your experience, how is debt shaping or even choking the spiritual and emotional lives of Christians today?
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of funny. I can dive into the debt thing like so hard. But one of the funny things that I kind of related to recently is I'm kind of obsessed with watching like 90s shows and early 2000s shows. It's just a great era of television, but a lot of them have this loan shark character in one of the episodes, or maybe a few. And it's met with this, you can find somebody in a park and borrow money from them, and then they're mad at you that you don't have the money the next day, or however the episode plays out. But it's always met with this, oh, okay, don't do a loan shark. Got it. But today, we don't really see that. We have credit cards that we can borrow on. We can put our burrito on a pay in four, and we're robbing our own futures without the loan shark character. So that's how easy it is today because it's so accessible. You don't have to find somebody in a park to rip you off. You can just apply for the 14th credit card and dig yourself into your own hole. So that I think is just a slippery slope of it's just so easy to fall into because it's so accessible.
Yeah. So what would you say are the first steps? What could a person say? Okay, day one, step one.
Mm-hmm.
What is it going to be that's going to break those chains of borrowing, whether it be credit cards or the loan sharks or the buy here, pay here's or conventional loans? I mean, you're right. There are 150 ways from here to Sunday to borrow money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think the first step is admitting that there's a problem. What I find more often than not in the people that I work with, it's they didn't realize how bad it was until they actually looked at it. And then there's no magic pill. Sorry, it's math. You can't spend more than you make. So it's realizing that there's a problem, and then steps to solve that problem is you either need to make more income or spend less and create a strategy to pay down the debts that you do have, because the longer you keep it, the interest rate's going to just keep piling up. So the thing about debt is it seems like you're chained down into this prison cell, but the door really is open. You just have to look for it and start doing something about it.
So I have heard of a lot of financial advisors talk about there's a snowball method, and then what's the other one? The
Envelope system?
blizzard method, or what is that?
That avalanche.
Avalanche. So
Yeah.
what are those two?
Okay. So the snowball method is you're paying off the smallest debt first, and then you apply that same balance extra to the next debt. So you're creating a snowball. In other words, you're like rolling the debt on top of each other, and then you're able to make even more payments towards the bigger debts.
Uh-huh.
So that's the snowball. That's probably the most effective. That's the one that Dave Ramsey swears by. That's the most effective because you're getting rid of them quicker, it seems like. The debt avalanche, it's not a bad way to do it, but that one is paying off the highest interest rate first. So on paper, yeah, and then working towards the smaller one. So on paper, that one seems like the smarter one to do, but more often than not, it's not going to make as big of an impact because you don't get that adrenaline rush of, oh, good, that one's paid off. Now I can do the next one. Oh, I can do the next one. It's like, okay,
That's
well,
a
I have
real
to
thing.
keep, yeah. So that, I think that's why the snowball method is the most popular because it's more motivating to pay it off. It might cost you a little bit more, but in the long run, it's just more motivating.
Yeah, we are psychological people, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
And we love a quick fix. That's what
Yep.
gets us in trouble.
Yeah, that's what gets you in trouble, but that also is what gets you out of trouble when you're, motivated to be on the opposite end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think about the avalanche. I'll think about that later. Um, if believers saw their money as kingdom fuel, how would it change the way they spend, save, and give?
Mm-hmm. It does. So anything from the mindset shifts that we've already talked about of once you start applying some of those, you're able to kind of have your money in more of an open hand instead of it's mine and you have this closed fist and God can't bless that. But if you have your hand open and you're able to give and you're able to do everything and kind of submit that to the Lord, He's able to do exceedingly abundant things. He's able to bless you and you're able to live more of a freer life in a sense because you're not tied down by your own mind and headspace.
Do you have do you have a story as an example of what that transformation looks like in real life? Have you ever helped anybody that was then able? Would you mind sharing it with us?
Yes, my favorite story because yes, I help people get out of debt. Yes, I help them invest. But my favorite transformation story was actually a sweet retiree. She was working through the book with me and she got to the budgeting chapter. And when you're in your retirement years, you're typically not budgeting. You're not in the headspace of, oh, I need to save money because you're on the other end of it and you're trying to, spend what you got. And she read the budgeting chapter, and I have in there that I think it's 2 Corinthians 10:5. It's taking every thought captive. And if you're taking every thought captive, doesn't that also translate to taking every purchase captive and submitting it? So when you're making your budget and you're spending in the store and you're adding extra things into your cart, is it really the best way to use your money? And so she said she read that and she was like, wow, I can't remember the last time I looked at how much stuff costs in the grocery store. I never really thought about it. And now it's changing the way that I grocery shop because I'm thinking about, is this really the best use of my money? Or if I put that back, I can do something else with it. So that's my favorite story because that's what I wanted when I wrote this book. It wasn't as much of the practical stuff as the heart shifting. So
That's beautiful. What is the name of your book?
it's called Financially Unbroken.
Oh, okay. The name of your yeah. The name of your okay. I
Yes,
missed
yes, my
that.
business was, yeah, business and book are the same name. I was trying to keep it simple for everyone.
I think that's a brilliant marketing
Yes.
deal.
I I missed that part. I was too busy reading all the other things, or I missed that one.
I
It's
will
also the name of
comment
the
on
blog.
like you've prayed over this, you've prayed over, God's given you a discernment, like this is what you feel like you should be in. And sometimes, because everyone has their own thing that they're doing. And I feel like I get so wrapped up in my brain, like, I'm like, oh, this isn't doing anything. Like, how am I ever going to help anyone? But like your story attests to, a Bible verse can change a whole like perspective on a situation.
Mm-hmm.
You're helping her with, becoming financially better, just all well-rounded. And I believe that's like divine intervention.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that.
Um, I do too. That is, I think that people, I don't know that I've ever actually thought of that before. If I had more money, I would actually give more. I think that God put something in us that is charitable. And if we have the means to help somebody and give to good causes and things and people that need our money, I think we are more apt. Have you found that
Mm-hmm. I have.
with the people that you work with?
Yeah, and one of the best analogies I learned at a conference was there's the Dead Sea, and then there's the other sea that now I can't think of the name. But the reason why the Dead Sea is called the Dead Sea is because it's so full of salt, because nothing flows from it. So the sea that's above it will filter all and send all the salt that way, and that one's a living sea. And then the Dead Sea gets dead because it's not giving. And so that's something that I would like totally put on a wall mural or something because I thought that was beautiful. But it's the same with us, right? It's the am I holding on to my money or am I opening my hand to be able to bless other people?
Yeah. I love that. I love that too. That is beautiful. Um, Jesus tells us not to worry about tomorrow, but Proverbs tells us to plan ahead. How do Christians walk that tension, preparing wisely without letting fear or greed drive the planning? What do you advise people with that?
hmm Proverbs also says uh, that the diligent man plans his path, but the Lord directs his steps. So it's not wrong to plan. It's important to plan. Luke 14 is the budgeting verse. I love it. It says that suppose any of you wants to build a tower, won't you first sit down and estimate the cost? Or would you, and this part's paraphrased because I didn't memorize the back half of it, but do you build the tower and then not finish it and everyone makes fun of you? So it's Luke 14. Check me.
I like that you called it the budget plan reverse.
Yeah, so it's important to plan, right? So, but there's a difference between I'm making one plan and this is it, and I'm not gonna submit it to the Lord, and I'm not gonna let anything waver from this rigid, structured thing. Rather, it's this is my plan, and if God's going to take me down a different path and I have to adjust and I get a raise or my husband loses his job or there's all kinds of things that's going to flow. It's going to change. So it's not a rigid point A to point B. It's having a structure, it's being wise, it's having the stewardship, it's being all of those good things while also saying, God, your will be done.
I love that. That is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad that we're talking about this because I think that whoever will listen to this, because I feel it within myself, it all, just talking about it and understanding and realizing that all of these verses that we all know are actually talking about finances. They're talking about money. They're talking about being a good steward, about provision. You know, money is provision. And God could give us another way to provide. And yet, this is how we provide, for our families. So I like that just the conversation opens it up and makes it feel less like something we shouldn't be thinking about and dealing with, and more like something that we should spend some time planning out and reading the budget planner in Luke. I love that. That's great. Um, if you could, we love to ask a golden nugget question because everybody has something to put on the table that somebody else can grab hold of and implement and work out through their own life. If there was one thing that you could tell every believer that would change their life with God and their impact on the world concerning money, what would it be?
One thing. It would be sometimes it's not about acquiring more. It's about finding contentment and stewarding what we already have.
I love that.
That's a very, very hard task to do in our current environment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like it's so hard to be content. And this world will tell you to just go, 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 do
Mm-hmm.
this, do this, do this, do this. You need to do this. And I'm guilty of it myself. I have to stop myself all the time. Just like, stop. Think about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
my favorite is seeing all of the must-haves. And it's one of those, anytime I see a must have, I just scroll, because if I've lived up to this point without the must have, I must not have had to have it, because I'm okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm sure you would probably be very proud of what I'm actually currently in the midst of. Most people that deal with money, I feel like they would be. Um, I always buy extra food. I always have food enough for a rainy day, full freezer, but I still continue to grocery shop every single week. So my last credit card statement was more than I wanted it to be because we went on our family vacation. So I thought, I'm not going to buy groceries till my next credit card statement. I'm going to live on all these groceries that I've been buying for a rainy day.
Mm-hmm. And it's your rainy day.
It's been, Emily, I'm going to tell you, people that say, well, God, I'm not sure about God, whatever, you know. The moment that I decided, this is a testimony for anyone, the moment that I decided that I wasn't going to buy any food till my next credit card statement, people were coming out of the woodwork giving us food. Any number of things, like vegetables out of their garden, meat that well, we know you guys really love salmon and we're not going to eat all the salmon. Do you want it? Yes.
Wow.
All kinds of things people have brought to us, continue to bring to us. We've been brought peaches, all kinds of garden vegetables. Like I said, salmon, some other kind of meat somebody else brought us. I'm like,
Someone brought you corn too.
someone brought us corn, watermelons. I can't tell you. I have more food than I know what to do with.
Wow.
I know. It's amazing.
That's a
And
crazy testimony, though.
it is a good testimony because God is the God of abundance. You are
Mm-hmm.
right about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm 55, so I'm a little, and it's just my husband and I, you know. So I will look at my credit card statements much more at this age of my life than I did 30 years ago. And I don't like to carry over balances.
Mm-hmm.
So, but none of the rest. I don't have any of the rest down. I need help. I need to buy a book. I'm going to buy it as soon as we go.
Awesome.
Because I need help, like with what Robin was saying about buying stocks and things like that. Is that in your book?
There's a risk portfolio in chapter 6, where it talks about all the different types of investing. But I don't give like specific advice in a book because I don't know who's going to read it and it might not be suitable for them. So I do
Oh,
dive a little bit into it, but like one-on-one consulting, I do that too.
okay.
Yeah.
So I will keep that in mind
Mm-hmm.
because right is exactly what you were talking about at the start. My husband doesn't really want to do much with his 401k because of the way that it's structured, and he doesn't know what his money is going to be funding. And without doing extensive research, it never even crossed my mind to find somebody who would know. Never crossed my mind, but I'm happy to have you as a new resource.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, where do you live, if you don't
I'm,
mind?
I am in Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh, nice. You're
Yeah.
quite a ways from us. We're in Michigan. We're in Southwest Michigan.
That's where my husband's from.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
Tecumseh.
Oh, I haven't heard of Tecumseh.
It's a really
We,
tiny town.
yeah. Have you heard of it? Yeah, we're in a pretty small town too, but yeah, Michigan's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was really nice talking to you, Emily. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to get your book. And anybody watching, if you need financial planning help or coaching, need coaching?
Coaching on all aspects of life.
Get a hold of Emily.
Yes, I'd
But
love to. And thank
Yes.
you for having me, guys. I really appreciate this conversation. It's been
yes,
amazing.
we loved it. We'd like to talk to you again. take a little bit deeper dive. Maybe we'll have you back on again.
I'm totally open to that.
All right. Have a nice afternoon.
All right, thanks.
Bye.